Welcome back to the Listen to English channel. You are entering a C2 level English listening experience designed for those who seek to push the boundaries of their comprehension and philosophical reflection. This narrative assumes a high degree of linguistic agility and an appetite for complex, abstract thought. If you are a learner at the intermediate stages, we suggest visiting our other archives. Today, we step through the screen and into the void. We are not here to discuss a film, but to examine the very fabric of the reality we inhabit through the lens of a cinematic masterpiece. Prepare for a deep immersion into the architecture of the mind. Let us unplug.
The genius of the human mind lies in its ability to build worlds. Yet its greatest tragedy is often becoming a prisoner within them. At the dawn of the 21st century, a narrative was introduced to the collective consciousness that suggested our reality might be nothing more than a sophisticated construct, a digital veil pulled over our eyes to blind us from a much harsher truth. While the film The Matrix used code and machines as its primary metaphors, the philosophical core of the story is as old as human thought itself. It is an exploration of the cave, the idea that we are staring at shadows on a wall and mistaking them for the objects that cast them. In our contemporary existence, the Matrix is not a supercomputer in a dystopian future. It is the invisible architecture of our social norms, our digital algorithms, and the psychological comfort zones we refuse to leave. We inhabit a world where our desires are curated by data, our opinions are shaped by echo chambers, and our identities are often just reflections of what we believe the system expects from us. We are living in a simulation of our own making, a comfortable consensus where the stakes are low because the rules are predetermined. This is the blue pill of the modern age, the choice to remain within the boundaries of the known, to accept the curated reality without questioning the source of the feed. The allure of the construct is its seamlessness. It provides us with a sense of purpose and a framework for meaning. Even if that meaning is entirely artificial, we find a peculiar kind of safety in being plugged in. To follow the path laid out by society, the education, the career, the consumption, is to live a life of predictable outcomes. But this predictability comes at the cost of genuine agency. We are, in a sense, batteries for a system that thrives on our compliance. We feed the machine with our attention and our labor, and in return, it provides us with the dream of a coherent, stable life. The question we rarely dare to ask is, what lies beyond the code? The psychological matrix is built on the fear of the void. We cling to the simulation because the alternative, the raw, unmediated truth, is often cold, dark, and demanding. To wake up is to realize that you are responsible for defining your own reality, a task that is far more taxing than simply following the prompts of a program. Most people are not ready to be unplugged. They are so profoundly dependent on the system's rules that they will defend the simulation at all costs. We see this in the vitriol directed at those who challenge the status quo, in the collective resistance to ideas that threaten our comfortable illusions. The simulation is not just a place we inhabit. It is a part of who we are. To choose the red pill is not a heroic act of instant liberation. It is an initiation into a profound and lasting discomfort. In the cinematic narrative, the moment of awakening is visceral, a violent ejection from a warm, liquid womb into a cold, metallic reality. This serves as a powerful metaphor for the intellectual and psychological awakening in the C2 level of human consciousness. When we begin to dismantle the illusions we have lived by, whether they are cultural myths, professional identities, or inherited dogmas, we do not find a paradise. We find the desert of the real. The modern seeker of truth often experiences this as a form of existential vertigo. We live in what philosophers call a hyper-reality, a state where the map has become more real than the territory it was meant to represent. We are surrounded by simulacra copies of things that no longer have an original. We see this in our digital landscapes, the perfect vacation photo that was staged for an audience, the authentic lifestyle brand that is meticulously engineered in a boardroom, or the political discourse that is more about the performance of belief than the belief itself. When we decide to unplug from these hyperrealities, we are often struck by how barren the actual world seems in comparison. The truth is not always beautiful. It is simply true. This desert of the real demands a new kind of courage. Inside the simulation, meaning was provided for us. Outside, meaning must be forged. The struggle of the newly awakened mind is the struggle to tolerate the void. We find ourselves in a position where the old anchors of social validation and predictable success no longer hold. This is why the character of Cypher is so resonant. He represents that part of every human soul that, when faced with the coldness of the truth, longs for the delicious taste of a digital steak. He reminds us that ignorance is indeed bliss, provided you can forget that you are ignoring something. However, the pursuit of the real is the only path to genuine sovereignty. To remain in the simulation is to be a spectator in your own life. To leave it is to become a participant in the universe, however brutal that universe may be. In our daily lives, this leaving happens every time we choose a difficult truth over a comfortable lie. It happens when we prioritize real, messy human connections over polished digital interactions. It happens when we allow ourselves to feel the weight of our own mortality instead of distracting ourselves with the endless, flickering lights of the screen. In the heart of the simulation, there exists a profound tension between two seemingly irreconcilable forces: the architect, who represents the cold, mathematical logic of the system, and the oracle, who represents the intuitive, unpredictable nature of human choice. This duality is the perfect mirror for our modern struggle within the digital landscape. We live in an age overseen by new architects, software engineers, and data scientists who design the structures of our digital experience. Every click, every pause, and every preference is fed into a vast system of equations designed to predict our next move with terrifying accuracy. The architect's logic is one of total equilibrium. He believes that humanity can be reduced to a series of variables, and that as long as the equations balance, the simulation will endure. We see this today in the predictive power of the algorithms that govern our social feeds, our shopping habits, and even our romantic encounters. The system knows us better than we know ourselves, often suggesting what we should desire before we have even felt the spark of a need. In this environment, the concept of free will begins to feel like a decorative illusion. If our choices are merely the inevitable outputs of our past data points, are we truly choosing, or are we simply following a predetermined path laid out by the digital architect? However, The oracle introduces a crucial variable: the power of the glitch. In the cinematic world, she is the one who understands that human beings are not merely biological machines, but entities capable of inexplicable decisions. She knows that the key to the human spirit lies in the moment between stimulus and response, the tiny, unquantifiable gap where a choice is made. In our modern life, this is the act of being unpredictable. It is the decision to walk a different route home, to read a book that contradicts your worldview, or to engage in a conversation that offers no transactional benefit. These are the moments where we defy the algorithm and reclaim our humanity. The oracle's wisdom is encapsulated in the phrase, "Know thyself." But in the simulation, self-knowledge is a double-edged sword. To know oneself is to understand the biases, the fears, and the patterns that make us easy to manipulate. The system relies on our lack of self-awareness. It thrives on our impulsive reactions. When we become conscious of the program, when we see the green code behind our own emotional triggers, we gain the ability to intervene. We move from being passive consumers of a reality designed for us to being active creators of a life designed by us. This is not about escaping the system entirely, but about learning to navigate it without being consumed by its logic. As the simulation nears its zenith, it produces a new kind of threat, not a wall, but a virus. Agent Smith, the relentless antagonist, represents the ultimate form of conformity. He is the personification of a system that seeks to replicate itself until every individual is merely a mirror image of the whole. In our modern world, the Smith contagion manifests as the immense pressure to fit into predefined categories, to use the same buzzwords, and to perform the same digital rituals. It is the loss of the self in the many. When we find ourselves losing our unique voice to adopt the safe, sanitized consensus of the crowd, we are being overwritten by the program. The battle against Smith is not a physical confrontation. It is a spiritual resistance. To remain individual in an age of mass replication is a radical act. We are constantly being nudged to sync our lives with the collective cloud, to harmonize our desires with the trends of the hour. But the Matrix teaches us that the system's greatest weakness is its inability to account for the anomalies. Your quirks, your flaws, and your unconventional perspectives are not errors in the code. They are your escape hatches. They are the only parts of you that the agent cannot infect, because they are the only parts that are truly yours. True liberation, therefore, is not a flight from reality, but a deeper descent into one's own singularity. It is the realization that the Matrix only has power over you as long as you fear its consequences. When Neo finally sees the world as it is, not as solid matter, but as a fluid stream of information, he no longer needs to fight the system. He simply transcends it. In our lives, this happens when we stop seeking validation from the construct, when the opinions of the unawakened majority no longer dictate your pulse. The walls of the simulation become transparent. You realize that the spoon is not bending. It is you that bends. As you conclude this listening experience, reflect on the constructs you currently inhabit. Consider the digital and social veils that shape your daily perception. Remember that the code is not absolute. Your capacity for awareness is the ultimate glitch in the system, a spark of genuine consciousness in a world of programmed responses. You have the power to choose the red pill every single day, in every single moment of awareness. The desert of the real may be vast and demanding, but it is the only place where you can truly be free. You have demonstrated an extraordinary level of linguistic and intellectual stamina by following this narrative to its conclusion. To engage with the intersections of cinema, philosophy, and advanced English is a testament to your growth as a master of the language. You have not just listened, you have decoded a complex reality. Take this clarity with you as you step back into the world. Observe the green rain in the mundane, and remember that you are the one who decides what is real.
You have successfully navigated the architecture of this narrative. Congratulations on completing this advanced listening experience. Your ability to synthesize these complex philosophical layers in a second language is nothing short of exceptional. You have proven that you are no longer a passive observer of the language, but an active participant in its deepest meanings. If this exploration of reality and simulation has provoked your thoughts, I encourage you to subscribe and share your insights in the comments. Your engagement helps us continue to build this space for high-level discourse. Thank you for choosing to unplug with us today. We will return soon with another journey into the unknown. Until then, stay curious, stay aware, and remember, the choice is always yours. Farewell.